Welcome to or welcome back to the icing on top. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're not new here, I'm just gonna say welcome because this channel is not what it used to be. Not the same person anymore, not making the same content, so welcome on in to the same channel, but it's a new channel. You get the gist. This video, I was so eager to make this video. Like, I'm telling you, I had the idea for it yesterday, and the second that I got the idea, I was like, I want to make it now. That's like one thing about me. I really like to rush and get things done ASAP. But I've been focusing on taking my time, taking it slow, slowing down. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow when I'm actually ready, when it's not dark outside. And so I waited, but it was hard to wait. I was so excited to make this video. So this video is for the girls, for the girlies. The title of this video is called The Pain of Perfection. Now, yesterday, I initially intended on making a completely different video today, but something just came to me and said, yeah, make this video about this topic, about the pain of perfection. And you might be thinking, what does that even mean, the pain of perfection? Like, what is painful about perfection? Well, to kind of give you an idea of what this video is going to be talking about and what I went through and what I overcame, that I know so many other girls, women, just people in general are going through. I made a poem. I wrote this poem yesterday when I was so eager to make this video. I was like, okay, if I'm not going to record, I'm at least going to write out what I want to talk about, and I ended up writing a poem. One thing about me, I love to write, I love to sing, and I've always just loved writing poetry. So I wrote a poem called The Pain of Perfection. So we're just gonna get straight into this. The pain of perfection. Who is that girl in the mirror? After so many years of feeling all alone, like no one else but me had my back, after being betrayed again and again by the ones I loved, broken trust and broken hearts, wondering why. Why wasn't I good enough for them? All I wanted was to feel loved and adored like a valuable gem. So I wore lashes, the long ones that the pretty girls did. I said things that I never thought I'd say, but the popular girls said it and everyone loves them. Then I looked down and I'm wearing a cropped shirt with my body out for the world to see. And it all worked. I was finally getting attention. Girls called me pretty and boys called me fine. I knew it was only a matter of time. Sneaky links at night and parties every weekend. I didn't even realize I was drowning in the deep end. My heart fluttered when he called me a star, and I bet you can guess what happened in the back of the car. But something weird happened. Suddenly, I overthink when he doesn't text back. And who was that girl with the blue fanny pack? I don't like it when he touches me. It hurts and I feel drained. But at least I'm not alone. He said he liked me, so I stay. Empty. This morning I woke up and saw a stranger in my reflection. Fake hair, fake lashes, and fake nails. Nothing real but her complexion. Who is that girl looking me in my eyes? I had slowly lost myself and I didn't even realize. Everyone around me says I'm beautiful. How come I can't see it? The pain of perfection. That is the poem that I wrote yesterday, and I feel like it perfectly captures how I felt growing up and who I became to cope with that feeling of loneliness. Growing up, I always felt alone. I was the oldest child, so I kind of grew up just me and my mom and my siblings, and with my mom working a lot and her going through the things with my dad, it was up to me to kind of I don't want to say take care of my siblings, but when my parents would argue or something would happen or crazy things would happen in life, as a child, of course, that makes me feel upset. But as being the oldest child, I can't just cry, and I can't let my little sisters see how upset that made me feel, because it's my job to stay strong and make them feel like everything is okay. And then as I got older, I would have tried to help my mom as much because I kind of felt guilty that she was going through all of this stuff and working from day in to day out just to provide for us. And I kind of felt obligated to help. So help her with whatever and just try and do what I could to help. And I felt obligated, this huge sense of responsibility on my shoulders at a very young age. And I really felt like nobody really saw me and nobody felt me or understood me, because deep down I was screaming inside. Deep down I felt so angry, I felt so upset, I felt so sad, and all of my emotions were like just piled up. And growing up, when I was younger, my parents all the time would tell me that I had an attitude, or that my mouth, I need to watch my mouth, and they would punish me for having an attitude. When in reality, it was just me, little old me, feeling all of these horrible emotions piled up inside, not knowing how to express them. I was taught that, and this was kind of me trying to express those emotions. I didn't really know how to properly or maturely and healthily express sadness or anger. What I grew up seeing was those emotions being expressed in immature ways, in ways that were hurtful and not helpful. So I didn't know how else to express this way that I was feeling. And it wasn't normal for us to talk about our feelings with our family. So I just felt so lonely, like no one else understood me. And I just yearned for the longest to feel loved, to feel seen, to feel like someone actually cared about me. So when I got a little bit older and I got into high school, I started seeing and noticing that the popular girls, the pretty girls who got the attention that I wanted, I noticed that they wore lashes, that they wore their hair like this, they wore these clothes, they looked like this, they talked like this. And me just wanting to feel loved and to get attention, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do what they do because they get attention. They look like they're loved, so I'm just gonna do that, because this was me just so badly wanting to feel loved. So what did I do? I started wearing the fake lashes. I started wearing the fake hair. I started I never really was a girl to get my nails done, the acrylic nails, but I would get them done sometimes, and I would wear clothes, like small, tiny clothes that showed a lot of skin, because that's what everybody else did, and everybody else had all the boys on their back. Everybody else, I kind of deterred and gave up on even trying to feel a sense of connection or love from my family. I gave up on that, and I went to, okay, so now I'm just gonna get it from these boys that I go to school with, and from these other people that are around me. And it was kind of me searching for external validation in a way. I wanted someone to tell me that I was good enough, that I was pretty enough, that I am awesome. It was basically me just following the crowd, essentially. And even though it did work, like in the poem, like I said, and it worked. It did work. Like once I started doing those things and started like changing myself, it worked. Like boys would come up to me and they would ask for my number or ask for my Instagram, take me out on dates, and I finally felt this sense of connection. And this is really funny because growing up, one thing that I was known for in my friend groups and just even at home was that I always had a new boy on my back. I promise you, if it wasn't one boy, then it was another. And once I was done dealing with another boy, I was on to the next. And it was just a cycle of boys, 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 boys over and over again. But the thing about this cycle, one of the main takeaways from the cycle that was repeating itself was that the relationships always ended. They always ended. They never lasted. And once one ended, I was on to the next. And the cycle will go something like, okay, I meet a boy, I really like him, he really likes me, or it's not even like I really like him, I just think that he's cute, or maybe he has a car that I like and he picks me up, and I just felt, I felt seen, he wanted to come see me. He would tell me he wants to come see me, and he wants to take me out, and he wants to do this and do that, and he would pick me up, and we would have so much fun together, and I felt free. I felt good. And I don't know, I guess there was this limiting belief that I had in my mind at that time that I hadn't realized, that said that I wasn't good enough. That I wasn't good enough on my own just for him to stay. So, how can I say this? I felt afraid that he would betray me or leave me like the people did in my past. Because, for whatever reason, the people in my past betrayed me. And in my little high school mind, with all these limiting beliefs, that means that I wasn't good enough. And I was so afraid of whatever boy I had at the moment to betray me that I did things to ensure that he wouldn't. Things like give my body to him, because that's what boys wanted, right? That's what little boys want in high school. So I gave him what he wanted to make sure that he wouldn't leave and that he would stay. But funnily enough, somehow in the end, he always left, or the relationship always failed. It never lasted. And one day, this had to be my senior year, or maybe before my senior year, I got up and I looked in the mirror. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't know who I saw. I had no idea who that was. She looked foreign to me. My reflection was a stranger. I didn't see me. In fact, I don't even know what I look like. It was such a crazy feeling, because I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at myself, and yet somehow I have no idea what I look like. What I saw was fake lashes, fake hair. I saw a broken girl, a girl that I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what I looked like. So that's what kind of encouraged me to start on my journey of figuring out who I am and finding myself again. That's what started this. Because all this time of me trying to be like the other girls just to get attention and doing things with boys that I really didn't want to do, but I did it anyways to avoid being betrayed or the past repeating itself. In the midst of doing all of that, I lost myself and I forgot who I was. And so it took me over a course of years of doing lots of different things to find myself. I did things like, I started in my senior year. If you know anything about me in my senior year, you know that I was never in school on my senior year. I mean, if I was in school for 4 days a week, it was a good week, okay? Because I'm telling you, I was at home, spending time with myself, getting to know myself. I would literally stare at myself. I had this cute little mirror, which I still have. I could go get it. I had this little mirror that I would just stare into for like 30 minutes, just analyzing myself, trying to recognize the girl staring back at me. And for a while, I didn't recognize her. But after some time of looking at myself in the mirror, spending time with myself, meditating, and eventually when I went off to college, I had a lot more freedom. So I would take myself out on dates, and I just kind of prioritized time with myself. And I felt like slowly but surely I was figuring out who I was again. And it was a bumpy road full of ups and downs for sure. But after, through time, I was able to find myself again. Now I'm here. And as you can see, no fake hair, no fake lashes. It's just strictly me. I do have on a little bit of highlighter and a little bit, but for the most part, this is me. My natural hair, I decided to finally get the locks. Oh my gosh, this was such a big deal for me to get to, put locks in my hair, because I I was so, what's the word? I'm trying to say clung onto or stuck onto or attached. I was so attached to the fake hair because that's what I feel like made me pretty. I feel like the long hair and all the wigs and all the everything really made me look like a baddie, and that's what the boys like. They love a baddie. But honestly, yes, I knew that I looked good. I did look good with that hair, but I didn't feel like myself. I noticed that when I would have those sessions where I stare in the mirror, I really felt like me when I had my natural hair out. And when I had on the wigs, I just felt like a stranger almost. And not to mention they were uncomfortable too. Like, wearing these wigs in the summer, it's hot and it's uncomfortable. I would rather have my hair out blowing in the wind. Why would I wear a wig, an uncomfortable wig, just because that's what the boys want? Just because that's what I think other people would think I'm pretty when I do that, when what I really want is to have my hair out. So I decided to get the locks. And this was like a huge deal for me because not only was I a hairstylist, so I'm used to like doing hair and doing my own hair, but I didn't know if people were gonna think now all of a sudden I'm not fine anymore, and all of a sudden now I look childish, or I wasn't gonna get any more attention and I was gonna go back to being lonely. And eventually I just said, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. So I did it. I did the locks. And I remember the first day I went to work where I had my locks. I don't have this job anymore, but I used to work at the Galleria in the mall. So I was going to be seen by lots of people. So I went to work that day with my natural hair out, with my locks out for the first time. And I had pink in my hair. I'm just now dyeing my hair back to like my natural hair color, but my hair was pink for a while. If I can find them, I can probably insert like some old pictures. Some old pictures of what I used to look like, and then pictures of me with my pink locks, and then now there's me, because even the pink started feeling unaligned with myself. But anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I wore my hair to work and I was so nervous because I was like, I look so childish, like nobody's gonna talk to me, I'm not gonna get the boys anymore, and blah blah blah. Ironically, that very same day, a boy walked in, or a man, a guy. He was like my age, but he seemed more mature. He walked into the store and he said, I just wanted to let you know that you look beautiful. And that clicked. At this point in time, I was still like learning my worth. So external validation had a hold on me. Like, I still kind of needed that external validation at that time. So the fact that someone else came in and told me that I look beautiful, that just told me like, okay, so I do look beautiful and I don't look childish and I am still gonna get attention, and it just made me feel better. So me finding myself definitely took a lot of time. It was a bit lonely, and it was hard. But in the end, the most important part was that I chose myself, and that I chose to do the things and present myself in a way that makes me feel like myself and it makes me feel comfortable. And I kind of had to learn. This is kind of a different video topic that we can go over. If you want to hear me talk more about this, then let me know. But there was something that happened when I moved here to Texas. There was a situation that happened, and it really forced me to look in the mirror and say to myself, why would I accept that? Basically, it was like a little situationship that I had with a boy. And the way that it ended really just hit me, and it made me say to myself, it made me think, why would I ever accept that? Why would I ever do that? And it made me go on this journey of finding my worth and finding my value, and no longer needing external validation. This is a bit of a more recent journey that I've been on, as in like this year, within the past few months, that I'm still working on right now, finding my worth. And I feel like now, me who I am now, I know my worth. I know what I deserve. I know that I'm valuable, and I don't accept anything less than what I deserve. But that took time. For me to even get here, I had to first look in the mirror all that time ago when I was in high school and not recognize who I was and say, this isn't good, this isn't right. I need to figure out and find myself again. And then there was a lot of things, a lot of lessons that I've learned, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. Pain and trauma are what helps you grow. If you don't feel pain, if you don't reach rock bottom, then you won't feel inclined to change. We kind of need that pain, and we need trauma, and we need this hurt, we need heartbreak in order to grow, because it teaches us. And I know it's hard to say, but the more you hurt, the more you learn, the stronger you'll bounce back. And I've had a lot of that, but I'm still in the process of bouncing back as we speak. It's like a never-ending cycle. And yes, it sucks to know that there will always be pain, but it's also good to know that through that pain, I'm going to bounce back and become an even better person. I wrote this little saying, or this little quote that came to mind yesterday after I wrote my poem. It says, "It's easy to follow the crowd, to feel like you fit in, but this fitting in is shallow and fleeting and will leave you feeling incomplete. The blissful person accepts themselves as the human God created them to be, diverging from the crowd, instead following their heart." So following your heart, don't follow the crowd. Do what you feel called to do what feels right to you. Like, if you like listening to country music, if you go to school in Detroit, this was me. I grew up in Detroit, where everybody listened to Detroit music, everybody listened to rap music, and they kind of got me on that wave too. I kind of started following the crowd and started listening to the Detroit music too and all of that. But deep down in reality, I like listening to rock music, Pierce the Veil, Falling in Reverse. I like listening to Men I Trust. When I went to college, I discovered that I love Men I Trust. Billy Toppy, Show Me How. I love these types of music. So even though everybody else was listening to Detroit music and that was the norm, it would, to them, it would be considered weird for someone to listen to rock music or a band like Men I Trust. That's just genuinely what I liked. And so a part of finding yourself is accepting who you are, accepting what you like, and embracing it regardless of what everyone else says and regardless of what everyone else is doing. Everyone else, the crowd, the majority, the masses, they don't know themselves, they don't love themselves, and they don't live fulfilling lives. The majority of people work 9 to 5s. They don't like their lives. They're not happy. So why would I ever listen to you? I choose to listen to my heart. I choose to do what I like to do. I choose to follow the path that God has set out for me. And I don't care what anyone else has to say. I don't care if what I'm doing is weird. I don't care if what I'm doing is not normal. It feels right to me. That kind of comes back to the fact of I'm a college dropout, you guys. Yes, and it's crazy for me to say because all throughout school, elementary school, even up to high school, I was an all-A student. I'm talking, I had a goal, I had a mission, and I intended on accomplishing that mission. And so I would go to school, get good grades, all A's, literally top of my class, number 1, top of my class, until something did happen. I was not valedictorian, but I was definitely up there, and I definitely had amazing grades because I had this plan of getting into college, getting a good job, and yeah, like making a lot of money. But when I went to college, my heart, this is also another video topic. We have so many different topics to talk about. But when I got to college, long story short, my heart was not in it, point blank, period. I knew that this was not for me. So even though I literally spent all this time since elementary school to get good grades, to get into a good college, now I finally got into one, goal accomplished, but I don't want to be here. My heart isn't here. And my family was so excited that I was in college, in this specific college. And I know younger me was happy that we're in college because this is what we've been working towards. And everyone was so proud of me. And this is also what the world says to do. The world says graduate and then go to college. But my heart just wasn't in it. And I had to follow my heart, and I had to follow the path that God set out for me. rather than continuing to do this thing that I don't even want to do simply because it's what everyone else is doing and it's what everyone else wants. This is your life, and you have to do what you want. You have to choose your own path. You make your own destiny, and you will never be happy in life if you follow someone else's rules or you follow someone else's path. You have to follow your heart, and you have to follow your passion and follow what makes you happy. I feel like I'm really getting off the topic right now. We started this off as the pain of perfection, and now we got here. I don't even know how we got here. But to wrap this video up, the pain of perfection, changing who you are over time, not even realizing that you've forgotten who you are. And the only way to find yourself again and to really feel fulfilled inside is to find yourself first. Love yourself, because you can't love yourself if you don't know who you are. Find yourself, love yourself, accept yourself for who you are. Know your worth, find your worth, know what you deserve. Set your standards and your boundaries to only accept people into your life who align with who you are. And everything will work out for you. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for more episodes. If you have any more topics or anything you want me to talk about or any advice that you want, let me know. Comment or DM me. Socials are in the description. And yes, again, this was for the girlies. So girlies, really look in the mirror and ask yourself, who do you see? Mwah.